Hey, this is Nathan
This is
Michael.
Chase.
and we're the Cornfed Coverage. Let's go ahead and dive into the college football playoff first round results we gave a couple weeks ago. Would one of you two want to go ahead and start?
Yeah, I can go ahead here. So Friday night we had that Alabama Oklahoma game. Both of you were on Bama. I gave out Oklahoma, but I did get switched last second by Nathan to be on Bama. But good game. It was looking all Oklahoma at the beginning. They go out to a quick 17-0 lead, and Bama's offense looked like they could do nothing. But before we knew it, we had a blocked punt. That led to some points. Then we had the pick six, and it was a tied before even halftime then. And then it was just all Bama. Oklahoma Mateer looked overwhelmed. He couldn't throw the ball at all, and Bama was able to press the box. And once they had the lead, they could just send their pass rushers and really confuse Mateer. So good game by Bama. We'll see how they do against Indiana. But what do you guys think of this game?
I thought that Kalen DeBoer had a great game plan. They definitely had to tweak something right off the bat because down 17-0 quick before halftime, that's not a good feeling in the first round of the playoffs at Oklahoma. Because they do not have an easy stadium to play in. And they had 50 Cent perform in the fourth quarter. They still
Yeah, that
just
was
couldn't get
crazy.
it going. I didn't expect that at all.
That
But it was a great
was
game. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. But Michael, what about you?
I'm glad. Hey, Bama figured out how to run the damn ball against Oklahoma because that's something they couldn't do when they lost to them in the regular season. So that was fun to watch. I thought it was crazy that Oklahoma blew a 17-0 lead,
Yeah,
which,
and out fast too, all in one
yeah,
quarter. Bama got it
yeah.
back.
One, Oklahoma, I mean, Venables is really good at defense. Like he's their defensive mind. For them to blow that
Top
seven
15. Top 15 defense in the country.
for them
Yeah,
to blow that 17-0 lead is mind boggling. But good on DeBoer. They're gonna have a challenge against Indiana though. I mean, Signetti's just a whole different breed. But uh, and then Ole Miss just handled Tulane. I was wrong on that. Um, I thought Tulane would get it better with the second shot and the whole Ole Miss ordeal, but unfortunately I was wrong. So Ole Miss is moving on. Uh, did you guys get a chance to watch
2-2.
that game?
yeah. Ole
Yeah.
Miss's offense was just no chance for Tulane. Tulane did have some opportunities early on offense to keep it close, and they just had some turnovers, missed field goal, but they weren't stopping Ole Miss then. So it was over, and then it got ugly too. And
It
then
was
I had a family
bad.
Christmas to go to, so I didn't see it when it got super ugly. But yeah, I was impressed by Ole Miss though. Um,
Yeah.
they looked really good, especially on offense.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the DC taking over kind of surprised me. I didn't think they would be. I thought they would be a little bit more susceptible, but kind of like what you were saying, that missed field goal, and obviously when their defense just can't get a stop at all, I don't know what to tell you. Summerall's going to Florida, so he's out of there now. But
Yeah,
I do know that he pledged money to their NIL fund next year.
yeah.
So he's a good guy, but you know, Ole Miss, we'll see how they do this week. Um, I don't. They lost to Georgia already once this year, but
It's
Georgia
semi
is not
close.
Tulane. Yeah. So we'll see. But I think that they did look great on offense. Really efficient. Trinidad Chambly looked incredible. We'll see kind of how this week works out for him. And then the other one is James Madison did cover against the Ducks,
They
but
did.
they lost by 17. The line was 21, I do believe, but it was just I feel like it was never super close. Did you guys have a
No.
chance to watch that one?
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, that game was like 34-3 at halftime or something. And then James
Oregon,
Madison did backdoor cover that, got some points at the end. But yeah, Oregon dominated. These little guys didn't really stand a chance this year.
It felt like watching Ole Miss Tulane.
Yep.
Yeah, at least for the first half.
But a
then in
little
the
more
second half-
competitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Oregon took out their starters at some point. It's just kind of all right. Well, Dan Lanning's obviously not going to let them come all the way back, but they definitely kind of. I really think that the college football playoff committee there needs to be reform because that's not. I don't think that a lot of college football fans really would rather watch, Notre Dame against one of those guys.
Yeah,
Or
if it could have just been one of Tulane
Texas.
or James Madison played Oregon, and then it was Notre Dame, Ole Miss in the first round in that other game, that would have been a great game, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And Notre Dame actually has a chance to maybe win it all, where these guys, like, maybe one year we'll get an upset where a group of 5 team beats one of these, like,
Advances.
superpowers,
Yeah.
but they're not going to be able to put together a run where they win 3-4 games in a row in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's just a lot to. I mean, especially in the NIL era, it's just crazy.
Yeah, they lose their head coach. And
Yeah, and then half their staff.
Oh,
might
it's so
leave as
hard to
well.
get players to buy in. If they see their head coach get offered and accept the position, like, I mean, at that point, they're still like adults and they'll be mature about it and understand, like, hey, I guess if you want to leave for a lot more money, go ahead, and I would do the same. But it's just the NIL era. I don't want to say it's screwed up teams. It's more or less making teams adapt to the change. But for those smaller schools, it's like really hard to get a player to stay there if you're taking in like $1 million a year versus a school that's putting like $25 million into just their athletic facility alone.
Yeah.
So, but the NCAA has to give those teams their shots because at that point you're just saying it makes it really hard just for a group of 5 team to even get in there in the first place.
Yeah. It all would have been fine if Miami just would have won the ACC. Then we wouldn't have had 2 group of 5 teams make it in. But that was so weird how Duke won that conference with 5 losses. And
yeah, it was. Yeah, that whole debacle was crazy. And I mean, Miami.
Well, and then Miami went on to win
Yeah,
their playoff
they-
game 10-3, but that was sloppy. That was a very sloppy game.
Yeah, A&M looked like they did against South Carolina that entire game.
Yeah,
It was bad. They couldn't produce anything whatsoever.
No,
Yeah,
that's
Reed
exactly how
was
they looked
really,
against
like-
Texas too.
Reed was exposed as a passer, I feel like.
Yeah.
When they really shut down his ability to run, took away his first read. He looked confused all game, really. And then they had that one chance, and I was kind of like, I was 50-50 on A&M Miami, and I was like, I've seen Carson Beck throw stupid picks at the end of games when it's on the line. And it was Reed when they were down 10-3. They did get all the way down there to, it was like 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal with 30 seconds left, and he throws a bad interception in the next game.
I'm glad I was right on the Miami side. So, in theory, I was only wrong on 2 games.
Went 3-1, 3-1 in the first round, baby.
So, not bad. Not bad for the pod, boys. And we got Chase to flip in real time.
And you made money
to
off
Bama,
of it,
and
so that
he
always
made
feels
money.
good.
So that's always good.
I was so mad at myself for flipping when it was 17-0 Oklahoma, and then before I knew it, Bama was dominating the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, slow starts, but good execution. But with that, there is a little bit of news related to the bowl game this week. Utah's former head coach, Kyle Whittingham, is taking the Michigan head coaching position. So he will no longer be with the team for the bowl game. Honestly, I haven't heard if he's taking any coaches with him. I would assume that information will likely come out after the bowl game. But honestly, I think that this could potentially affect the mentality of the players. They're probably still bought in for the most part because they might be upset they didn't make the college football playoff and they want to prove that. But then on the other side of things, I think the Huskers definitely have something to prove here. If we win this game, this could change the entire trajectory for next season.
It's such a big if.
Well, it's a ranked win. this would be a ranked.
I mean,
this
yeah,
would
it'd be
solve
good
that.
trajectory, but we're 14-point dogs, Nathan. Without
People have won with worse odds.
Nathan, we also don't have
People have
Emmett
won
Johnson,
with
who
worse
has
odds.
produced 40% of our offense over the course of the year.
That's okay. TJ Lateef is stepping up as a leader, and we'll see what happens.
And I'm not sure with Utah's opt-outs if they have anyone crucial. I think they
have opt-outs just like we do.
I think one of their offensive linemen, who's supposed to be a first or second round projection, is sitting out. But other than that, I don't know who they have.
So, we'll see. We'll see if anybody ends up leaving their staff, but I don't think that it'll happen before the game, since that's going to be Wednesday. You guys have anything to add to that?
Michigan threw the bag at him.
Yeah, honestly, I think it was more so forced out at Utah from what I've seen online.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess the school put out that he was going to retire.
Yep.
So that makes it seem a little fishy.
I'd be interested to see. Well, and he's their all-time winningest coach.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't. And he did say on the record that he didn't want to be the guy that overstayed his welcome, but I feel like with that terminology, that doesn't sound great coming from your all-time winningest coach. He should have been coveted.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they would force him out, because I feel like they overperform every year. I mean, even this year they're 10-2 with their only loss. They lost by 3 to their big rivals BYU, and then they got beat by Texas Tech pretty bad. But everyone in the Big 12 kind of got blown out by Texas Tech this year. I think it's a good hire for Michigan, though. I think he's a good coach. We'll see if Underwood and people stay, or if he'll have his own quarterbacks that he brings in. But other than that, I hope this is a distraction to the Utah team and we can get a big win, because we can get that monkey off our back of a ranked win before even going into next season, and we can stop hearing about that. And it would just be a huge confidence builder. Maybe with Lateef and Dana, they got something figured out to attack Utah, because I am scared that our offense is going to struggle big time.
We need to go back and watch that Texas Tech game.
Yeah, we got to maybe something to stop their running attack too. And if Devin Pierce playing, we got to figure out stopping that running quarterback too. So I'm excited to watch us here in just 48 hours now.
Yep, 12:31 at 3 o'clock.
Yep.
Go Big Red.
GBR.
But with that, let's go ahead and get into college football playoff round 2. Michael, you want to go ahead and start us out with your picks?
There's going to be some good games this weekend, fellas.
I'm excited for them.
They're going to be a lot better, I think, than what we were watching last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, biggest spread is 9.5.
9.5. Yeah, Miami over Ohio State. I think Ohio State's going to win that, actually. So I'm just going. I don't think they're going to cover the spread, but I think OSU just wins it outright. So I'm going OSU. But I don't know. It's just hard watching Miami beat A&M 10-3. Yes, that's a really tough offense to stop, but Ohio State just sees tougher opponents personally than Miami does on a yearly basis. And Ohio State, their only losses are to Indiana. So their only loss, I should say, is to Indiana. But
Held them to 7.
Yeah. So in that defense, I mean, they're gonna be ready to play for sure. But Ohio State just win it. And I'll just briefly go over the 4 games and then we can track back to them. But I was gonna say Oregon to beat Texas Tech, Indiana to beat Bama, Georgia to beat Ole Miss. I'm just going money lines. I do not give 0 fucks about spreads.
See, I'm the exact opposite of you here. I'll run them through quick, but I have Texas Tech plus 2.5 against Oregon, Bama plus 7 against Indiana, Georgia minus 6.5 against Ole Miss, Miami plus 9.5 against Ohio State.
Yeah, but you're with me and against me, because I'm only doing money lines, and money lines don't care about how much they win by. So, like, if Georgia
I
just
care about the
wins,
spread.
yeah.
That's why
But
I'm opposite of you. But what about you, Chase?
I like Ohio State minus the 9.5. I think they're going to win big. I think Miami's offense, how they struggled against Texas A&M's defense, but now they're playing a whole nother dog in Ohio State's defense. Probably the best in the country. Held Indiana to 13, held Texas to 7, held Michigan to 7. It's hard to score on them. They got Matt Patricia back there in NFL, longtime defensive coordinator. And
old Patriot guy.
Back. And Miami's not going to score a lot. I could see the game being like 24-10, 27-10. Bama, Indiana, I'll take Bama plus 7. I think Indiana's going to win, but I think Bama's going to keep that game close. I'll take Indiana by a field goal. I think Mendoza will do enough, but Bama keeps it close. I'll take Oregon with the points. They're my national championship pick. Them giving up all the points they did to James Madison kind of scares me, but I think Dante Moore and Dan Lanning gets it done. And then Ole Miss impressed me. I think they're going to be a live dog against Georgia. I'll take them plus 6.5, and I won't be surprised. I think they could maybe win that game.
I just have to ride with my SEC champ pick.
Yep.
I just have to because my natty pick is nowhere to be seen. But it's going to be a good week of football or a good weekend of football.
The reason I like Texas Tech is because I think their defense is just better all around. They kind of just ran through their entire conference, and they had quality teams in there. Now it's not the Big Ten. It is not. I'm not saying that. But Texas Tech defense, Jacob Rodriguez, he was on the Heisman voting, for God's sake.
Yeah.
The last person to do that was Ndamukong Suh. So
that is valid.
They do have a very solid defense. And Oregon's lost a couple of coaches, I hear, to the coaching carousel. Lost a couple of coaches to Cal since they got one of their new head coaches.
I think they may still be with them now, but yeah, they're losing both coordinators to head coaching jobs, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so we'll see how bought in people are, but I do think Dan Lanning is one of the best coaches in the country to get the most out of his players. But you know, the reason I'm on Bama, I could see Cignetti pulling off the win. I easily could, but I just think Alabama and what they showed last week against Oklahoma, they've got a slow start, and if they do that against Indiana, they could get crushed. But if they start out good, I think that they could take Indiana to the line. Just because Indiana they almost lost to Penn State. Yeah, that's not a knock on Penn State, but that's after they fired their head coach and have had a tumultuous season to that point. You know? But then Georgia, Tulane is not the Bulldogs. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
They had an early matchup earlier this season, and Georgia still won. It was a tight game, but it is harder to beat a team more than once.
Yep.
And I know for Ole Miss playing Tulane, I guess. Ole Miss just said, all right, we'll play you again. Good luck, buddies. And just continued to beat their butt.
Yeah, Ole Miss is just playing teams they've already played.
Yeah, literally. They're just redoing their fucking regular season games at this point.
And I think that game was 43-35 in Georgia last time when they played. So I think this time Ole Miss could maybe keep it closer, but obviously, like, Georgia's going to be able to score on Ole Miss, unlike Tulane was.
Yep. And I think Kirby Smart's one of the best coaches in the country, so they're going to come prepared and hungry, ready to snipe them down. But then with the last game, I think Miami, just kind of the way that they looked last week against A&M, their defense looked pretty nasty. That pass rush is definitely formidable. So I think Ohio State's offense is going to be a little tested, but, you know, I do agree with what you're saying. Ohio State has the best defense in the country. So we'll kind of see how that goes, but I do like them to at least cover the 9.5 point spread. But with that, did you guys have anything else to add about the first round at least?
We're kind of all, I wouldn't say we're not against each other, and we're kind of with each other on some, against each other on some, and So
It's
to
a
me, that
healthy
makes it
mix.
seem like I think it's going to be a lot of good games, and a lot of them can go either way. I think there's going to be an upset. I don't know which game it is yet, but someone's going to pull it off this weekend.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or Wednesday and Thursday, I should say.
And you know who I like that to be? Let's go ahead and get off the playoff just for a second. I'd like to make two different college football bowl season selections. So, I mean, you can clearly tell by what I'm wearing. I'm going to go with the Huskers plus 14 against Utah. I think with Whittingham going to Michigan, might have kind of struck a chord with some players. There might be something going on internally that we're not aware of. But who knows? I don't know if they've lost any coaches, but I just think that the Huskers have more to play for in this game outside of Utah. And it's also just too many points. 14 points is a lot. I think that we're going to try to show them how physical we can play. We have the best offensive line coach in the country now on our staff. So, I'm expecting to see better play out of both sides of the ball, with Rule helping the defensive line position group as well. I've heard good stories, good reports out of all the players on the line talking about their interaction with Rule and the position group aspect. But
I'm going to counter you on that. I think Utah beats us by. I think they do what Penn State and Iowa did to us.
No.
And, I hope the Huskers prove me wrong on that. I hope they battle back and show something to us to be proud of. But if it's going to go anyway, like the last two games where we did have Latif at quarterback, and we also had our best, yard producer in Emmett Johnson playing for us, of which we will not have in the bowl game. I just think it's going to be really hard for Nebraska to put up points to even, stay with Utah, because Utah put up a lot of points against BYU. Even though they still wound up losing the game, they're still going to have that higher-powered offense as long as Dampier is playing. Nebraska's going to have to deal with, if Dampier is playing, a running quarterback, of whom we usually do not fare well against outside of Brendan Sorsby.
We also handled Aiden Shealy's and Nico Amalahueva.
Yes and no, but not on the same level.
Not
on the same level as
Dampier.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's enough to win the game.
We also
it's not ideal.
We also had Raiola at quarterback, and then for MSU, but I guess we had TJ for UCLA. But
that was his very first collegiate start.
Yes, against a very mid defense at best. And
no, they were poor. They were a bad defense.
I said mid at best, so I mean we're saying the same thing. But I just think it's going to be tough for Nebraska to put up points against a better defense than Penn State's. Probably about the same defense as Iowa's, I would say. But what about you, Chase? I guess at this point I'm going to take Utah minus 14.
I'll take Nebraska plus the 14. I think these bowl games are hard.
That's the Patriots fan. You can tell. You can tell who he really cares about.
I think Matt Rule will get these boys fired up. All we've been hearing about is how we're going to get outmatched. I think we're going to stay within 10. We're not going to lose by double digits.
I like it. That's where I'm at too.
I'm still a Husker fan, and I hope we do well. I'm just being logical on my side.
I get it. I mean, it's a terrible matchup for us when you think about it, because
they're the second best rushing offense in the nation.
Yeah, and they're like the Iowa, Penn State, Minnesota teams that killed us.
They arguably got left. I mean, you could kind of make an argument, but they were one game away from a college football playoff appearance.
Yeah, if they didn't lose to BYU and their only loss was to Texas Tech, yeah, they would have had to go to the Big 12 champ game like BYU.
They would have had, and we could have seen more, but to each their own. I just think, God, our defense is going to need to figure out how to stop the damn run.
Yeah.
Now I'm just thinking about it more, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup. It's going to be hard for us, but I think we
But
can
with
get it
that, let me go ahead and tell you the other pick I want to make. This
done.
one's kind of a lesser known one. Give me Montana State money line against Illinois State in the FCS championship game. They just beat Montana in the semifinal. I'm not gonna lie, have not been following season long.
It was a good game. I got to actually watch that.
I really want to go with Montana State to win this game. They're underdogs. They also have, this is their third title appearance in 5 years. And also, they had 2 running backs averaging over 6 yards per carry. So that's really good. Give me them to win the title. Money line.
Isn't this the first FCS championship game that has not involved North Dakota State or South Dakota State in like 10 years?
Would not surprise me at all.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure when I was watching that Montana State game, I heard an announcer state something like, this is the first time in like forever where North Dakota State or South Dakota State were not in the Natty.
Yeah, because it used to always be them, especially North Dakota State.
Yeah. But in Illinois State came into this matchup unranked. Like they weren't even in the like the top 5 of their FCS rankings. So I feel like it's gonna be an interesting game. Just going off of what I watched against Montana and Montana State.
I'll go Montana State. I don't know too much about it, but I'll roll with them.
Let's go.
We're doing a Montana State three pick.
Husker Montana State parlay.
Utah Montana
Go with
State
the dogs.
Utah Montana State if you guys want a little 2-legger out there.
But with that, let's go ahead and dive into the NFL review last week. We did not make any picks due to the holiday. I hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas, and if you do not celebrate, I hope you had a happy holidays. But let's go ahead. I've only got 2 games I really want to go over. We'll go ahead and we'll start with the Eagles holding on to win 13-12 against the Bills. Really sloppy game. I think that Josh Allen played down to the level of their opponent, and they were down 13-0 late in the 4th, stormed back, scored a walk-off touchdown, and then the 2-point attempt, he just missed the throw.
He was so mad.
I understand he's playing hurt, but oh man, that's gotta hurt. So I don't have a lot of words for that one, just because I was expecting a little bit more.
It was a crap weather game. It was really bad. They were slipping all over the place.
Too.
Yeah. It was like sleet almost.
Yeah.
Well, and even with that, the conditions have been there all game long. Why would Josh Allen try to throw it, not just run it in? It looked like he had an open way to the end zone.
Yeah, but it's a 2-point conversion, and if he saw, he had the receiver. He had the receiver wide open, like literally wide open. He just needed to make that throw.
Yeah,
it was just.
I don't know why they went.
You will not see that a lot from Josh Allen.
I think
when they could have just done OT and
I think they should have done
shot
OT.
at making
the Eagles
it.
hadn't scored at all in that second. Jalen Hurts, I don't even think completed a pass yet in the second half. You're at home. I get going 2 more when you're on the road, but when you're at home, you got the home crowd behind you. I almost would just send it to overtime.
McDermott must have just felt something in the game where he was like, I don't know how this game will wind up in OT, and he didn't want to give Jalen Hurts the ball
Jalen Hurts
again.
and Saquon Barkley, that's hard to... I would not want to defend that either.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Especially when that game just felt like they were gut punches. It felt like an old school just running the ball as much as you can. And it just felt like both teams were super gassed at the end of that game. Players were just falling over half the time. But, in those conditions, it's really hard not to, especially when you are gassed. So.
But then the other game, the Niners won a shootout against the Bears on Sunday Night Football.
A toddler could make winners at that point. It was
the first time in history that 2 teams have tied at 7, 14, 21, 28, 34,
42.
40 no,
No, because it was 42-38.
It was 40. Yeah.
So it would have been 38. What you guys would have
35
tied
was the last number they would have tied.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and they kicked a field goal late. So I just don't. Great game. It was a great
It
ball
was
game.
so back and forth. It was fun to watch for sure.
Not a lot of defense. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey, and more importantly, Brock freaking Purdy. He is playing for every dollar he earned in that contract over the summer. He has played 8 games this year, and he is now playing like he's in his bag. And next week, we're up for the 1 seed. If you would have told me that the Niners in like week 4, week 5, after a couple players went down, that we'd be up for the 1 seed week 18, I would have told you, get out of here. You're crazy. But Brock Purdy, you are playing out of your mind. Great game last night. Caleb Williams looked good too. But Robert Saleh, I just really loved how aggressive he was only in specific situations on defense. He would blitz on a third down late in the third quarter, but he would disguise it. He wouldn't show right away, or he would bring it late. Like, just the way that he would confuse Caleb Williams. And then the last drive, Caleb Williams drives down the field. Luther Burden makes a couple great catches, couple great plays, and then they have that reverse that goes to Swift, and they get the first down, and then they spike the ball to get 4 seconds left. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan was just kind of waiting to call a timeout, or if he recognized the dysfunction that the Bears were because they weren't in the correct formation to call the play, and they didn't want to get a delayed game since they were on the 4. So, or they were closer, I think. They were on like the 2 or the 3 yard line. But Caleb Williams, incomplete pass, game over. Man, it was great. Love it. What about you guys? Have a chance to check that one out?
Yeah, great game. Caleb Williams and Brock Purdy, like you said, they both looked great. Caleb Williams looks a lot better than he did last year, and I feel like just even lately, he's kind of just got a flick of his wrist and a powerful arm. You can tell he's super talented. And yeah, Brock Purdy, especially that one play that's been all over Twitter where he's juking those guys out and then he hits the tight end in the corner of the end zone.
No, Kyle Juszczyk, fullback.
Yeah, he's looked good. And both these two coaches, it seemed like a head coaching masterclass between the two. They were both taking advantage of defenses that are either injured or weaker, and they were both just in their bag calling plays, and 2 really good offenses that you're not going to want to play here in the playoffs. So good game. And now the 49ers, yeah, it's all been about the Rams and Seahawks, I feel like, and 49ers have slowly put together a win streak and can get the 1 seed next weekend.
Dangerous.
Yep.
Patriots could get the 1 seed if Broncos lose and they win.
Unfortunately, just before, like 30 minutes ago, the Chargers said Justin Herbert will not play this weekend.
And Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. Not against that defense.
That is a perfect segue to what we want to discuss next, which is the next to last week of the regular season of the NFL. First off, Pat's money line, 100%. Go make your money. Go make y'all's monies. And I would take Chargers to cover just because they want that 6 seed. Okay? They don't want to sit down at the 7. They don't think it's cool. They prefer the 6 seed over the 7 seed. Not going to make them any... I mean, their matchup for the 7 seed, isn't that much better, but, take games where you can. So, those are my 2 picks for the week.
I don't hate it. I really hope that, if we beat the Broncos, we ruin their shot at the 1 seed and still get to rest Herbert. Like, that's the dream. Like, I do want to rest Herbert just because I don't think there's a huge difference in playing at New England or at Jacksonville or at Houston. All three are going to be very hard. We're going to be underdogs in all three. But either way, I guess I'll just get into my picks, which I'm going to start with the Seattle 49ers game that we kind of just hinted at for the 1 seed. And unfortunately for Nathan, I think Seattle's going to win this game. I think the 49ers offense is really good. I think Kyle Shanahan and Saleh are doing an amazing coaching job. But I do think Seattle's defense is going to be able to get some stops on this 49er offense. When they played week 1, I think the final score was 17-13. Seattle was going down there about to score, and it took a Nick Bosa strip sack. Unfortunately for the 49ers, they don't have Nick Bosa anymore like
they also didn't have George Kittle in that game.
There was no George Kittle in that game? He may not even play this weekend. He's still questionable. So I just think Seattle's going to win this game and that the NFC is going to go through Seattle. So I'll take Seahawks money line. And then for my other pick, Bears-Lions, I'm going to take the Lions plus the 2.5. I think the Bears are going to lose. I think even though the Lions are eliminated from playoffs, Dan Campbell's not a guy that's not going to get his boys going. I think they're just going to be fired up. They can make the Bears fall from the 2 seed to the 3 seed. I don't know if that's really something to play for, but I just think the Lions are going to be able to score on the Bears and just kind of try to get one last win on a bad season for them.
Didn't Dan Campbell, like his first year, ruin the Vikings' chance at a playoff run?
It was the Packers, actually. But yeah, the game meant nothing for the Lions, but if the Packers won, they were in the playoffs, and if they lost, they were out. And the Packers lost.
Sir.
So yeah, I think Lions could beat the Bears this weekend, even though they have nothing to play for.
They could play spoiler.
Yep.
I mean, if
the Bears fall to the 2 seed's going to play the Packers. I think the Packers are locked in at the 7. The 6 seed's going to be some combo of the Rams, Seattle, or 49ers because all three of those teams are so close to each other. They're going to be the 1, 5, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and get into my picks then. So I think the Niners obviously are going to beat the Seahawks. Give me Niners plus 1.5. I think that Brock Purdy is playing in his bag. He is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold.
He is.
I think that our offensive playmakers, we don't have as many as we used to. We're down quite a few guys. Ayuk hasn't been on the field all year.
That guy has been driving past your guys' stadium without a win in the world.
He doesn't deserve much thought. But past that, it's like Kittle's hurt now, like you were saying, Chase. Yeah. Trent Williams also is hurt, so we'll see if he ends up
first play of that last game, too, like on the interception, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, Brock Purdy is showing right now that he can elevate the play when the key players are missing. So I think that right there is going to be
still have CMC. Let that not be forgotten. That is still a massive playmaker.
And Ricky Pearsall and Jake Tonjes. We have weapons.
Dude, Tonjes looked like an all-star receiver. Purdy is making him look.
We just don't
freaking filthy.
It's just not the Avengers anymore, like we're used to having. Like when we had Debo, when we had Ayuk, when we had Kittle, and
when you had Jawan, when Jawan was your wide receiver 4, which is crazy.
Yep. Well, and also another person you can't forget is Brian Robinson Jr. Mm-hmm. He has been a great addition because if he were not here, Christian McCaffrey could have gotten hurt. He still could get hurt, just with the injuries we face on defense alone. I think that our defense is going to have to lock in, but Saleh and Mike McDonald are going to have, McDonald used to be the Ravens defensive coordinator before Seattle. Yep. So he's a defensive-minded coach. And I think he's going to try to stop Purdy. He wants that 1 seed. He wants it to run through Seattle because the Super Bowl is in Santa Clara. It's at Levi's Stadium. So if he wants to have that home field advantage. But I don't think it's happening. And then the other pick I've got the Steelers minus 3.5 at the Ravens. Against the Ravens. I think that they're just Steelers, or give me a money line. Just money line, actually. I don't want the points. But just because whatever it seems to be, Mike Tomlin always seems to be able to get the win he needs to make the playoffs and keep his job. And Aaron Rodgers is playing pretty decently, but they did just lose to Cleveland. So excluding that game,
not a good loss.
They could have beat Cleveland, and this game wouldn't have mattered at all. They could have just rested.
Exactly. So I don't really know. I don't have answers for you for last week, but I just like him a little bit more than Harbaugh. Even with Lamar out, I think all they're going to be able to do is run it, and we'll see if TJ Watt plays, and that'll be the difference maker.
And Lamar could play. I think it's going to be 50-50
if Huntley plays. I mean, that's still going to be a relatively tough game considering you got to defend.
The last couple seasons, anytime Lamar has reported an injury late in the season, he hasn't came back.
I know.
He didn't make it back in 22 or 23.
All I know is
and it's a bad back contusion too.
If Herbert had the same injury with
he'd be in that fucking. He'd be wearing a brace on his fucking back if he needed to. Herbert probably, like, that man, he literally played through a broken
He broke his hand in the first quarter and finished the game. And then got surgery the next day.
Yeah. And then proceeded to play the following week, too.
Yep.
So, that man will literally play through anything as long as he's not losing a, finger or anything. If he has a broken rib, he's playing through it.
Yeah.
He's not going to tell anybody about it until after the game, because then they're going to want to take him out because he's getting paid millions. You don't want to ruin that.
But yeah, I like your guys' picks. We got some good college football playoffs.
I don't like your picks, Chase.
What?
I don't like your picks.
Oh.
I don't like one of
your
your
picks.
picks.
Probably don't like my Seattle pick, but yeah, good games. Some good college football playoffs games, then some NFL games that are determining the last teams in and the number one seeds. So it's going to be a good weekend before we get into the NFL playoffs, then starting next weekend.
And actually, an event that's going to kick us all off Friday night is a top 15 matchup between Michigan State and Nebraska in Lincoln.
Yeah,
for men's basketball. They are ranked 9, I believe, and we are the 14th.
13th, actually. But
13, yeah.
At least 13th in the AP.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, I'll take that.
Nebraska, so if we can beat them,
a hell of a game. And keep our we do have a game before that, but if we can continue our undefeated streak,
I think we play tomorrow.
Yep, we do.
Tuesday.
I can't think of who. I can't remember the team off the top of my head.
It's like New Hampshire, New Haven, something.
Yeah, it's not a Big Ten school.
It would be a quad 4.
Yeah.
But
Husker basketball looks great. I ranked 13th.
Who would have thought we would have gone undefeated to enter undefeated entering Christmas break?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Guys, we have to find ticket. Johnny said those tickets were running like $150 to $200 for the Michigan State game. So we should probably look for tickets like against Oregon or Iowa or somebody that's not ranked top 10. So, but if you guys got money to go spend $150, go to the vault and support the Scourge.
Yep. See a good game. If Nebraska wins, I can almost guarantee we're going to storm that court. It'd be a fun one to go to if you got the money.
We've all gotten to do that before, and that shit is fun. I can confirm.
We just need a solid showing from our stars. We need Mast to have, possibly another triple-double. We need Hoiberg to be playing good defense.
Sanford.
Price to be hitting his shots. We need
Jamarcus.
Yeah.
We need the whole squad.
We need a whole team effort.
Yeah.
So it'll be all hands on deck. But hoping for a really close game. Hoping for a Husker win.
That vault is going to be loud.
Yeah.
We haven't seen
Peacock. The game is on Peacock.
We haven't seen a top 15 matchup in Lincoln in forever.
Yeah. And if we win this game, we could move into the top 10.
Top 10. Top 10 for the first time since we were in middle school / elementary school.
I mean, Nebraska basketball being 13th is definitely the highest ever.
Yeah, since 92.
So, yeah.
So,
that anybody else have anything they want to add before we sign off?
No, not really.
Go
Sad,
Big Red.
sad loss for Nebraska volleyball. If we never got to talk about that against A&M.
That was rough.
Really
No
thought this was
bueno.
our year when we were undefeated and won all those sets in a row, but tough loss. A&M ended up winning it all, so they were a good team.
We've lost to the last 2 or 3 champions, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's just we got to get over the hump, but I believe we have the right players, right coaches, right staff to do this.
Yeah, great.
So,
I mean, great first year coaching. You can't really ask.
Yeah, going undefeated in your
Besides
first
winning the
season.
championship.
Yeah, going undefeated is crazy. It'd be like Signetti losing this weekend.
Yeah.
Being number 1 all the way throughout the year and then just losing the first round.
Yeah.
It's just tough. But yeah, go Big Red. If you guys are going out for New Year's Eve, have fun, drink responsibly. If you guys need a friend to drive, call that friend or call an Uber. Do not get behind the wheel. My name is
Mikey. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. As always, do not forget to follow, like, subscribe. If you guys put a comment out there for a question, we'll make sure to review it and give you a chance to have us review on the pod. This is the Cornfed Coverage. My name's Michael.
I'm Chase.
And I'm Nathan. Thank you for watching. Everybody have a good weekend.